falling. It's coming back down. It's going to cross here and make another death cross probably over there if it doesn't turn out before the time. So that's the second moving average that you are looking at. Okay, is your 55. Once you are satisfied now that both conditions are met, your 200 is moving upwards, you have got a theta cross. Now you start looking at your 21 moving average. And we switch that one on. Now the 21 moving average, as the name once again implies, the 21 moving average tells me what's happened over the last 21 coins. So now it's giving me a much shorter time frame to watch what's happening in the chart. Are you guys getting this? We started at a 200. We moved down to a 55. We want to see the crossover. Now I've decided I want to buy this coin. This is a good coin to look at, but now I want to look at even lower time frames to see when's the best time to buy it. Are you getting me there? Okay. Now we look at the 21, and we are still, this is on dash. Let's go back to Koti, where we were. Let's try and stick to one coin. In Koti. Now in Koti, notice that my 21 also crossed my 200. Which should be, if the 55 crosses, the 21 will always cross before the 55. So you'll always see the lowest time frames will cross the 200 first, but you want the green one to finally cross it. Alright? Also running upwards, this 21 moving average, it came back, it touched my 55, it went up, it came down. Now when we call this line, as you see I've marked it in pink, we've turned this line to be pinky. Okay? Just for plain straightforward, so I always watch pinky. What's pinky doing when I'm ready to climb into a trade or out of a trade? So I've determined this is something I want to buy, but what's pinky doing? Pinky came down, it tested the green, and then it pulled away. So the fact that pinky pulled away tells me this might be a very good coin to buy right now, and it might be a very good coin to run with right now, because pinky is running also above my green. Remember, you want pinky to also be above your green, not below your green. The lower moving average goes through the higher moving average. A 21 must now be crossing the 55 to show me the better part of the picture. Okay? So once we're watching this better part of the picture, we can see pinky has bounced off the green, and pinky will do that quite often. Whenever it turns around, it'll touch the green and bounce off again. If pinky crosses the green, you get out. It's time to let go of the coin. Let's say you climbed into the coin somewhere down here when pinky crossed over, you climbed into the coin, you will let the coin ride, down, up, down, but the moment it goes that way, you're out. You let go. Okay, the moment you get your first death cross, you jump out of the coin. That's this high point that we were talking about just now. The current high for the current period. So that'll be up there, you're going to be getting out when you see the pink one cross the green one. So you get out, and now you wait again. Pink rolls over, you wait for it to come and touch or cross the green, and when it crosses the green, you're going to be down here again at the lowest point of that cycle, and you're going to buy it, and you're going to run it up again to the top of the next cycle, until when pink crosses over the green again. Okay? Now we're going to put one more on here, and we're going to call that the 7 moving average. Alright? And that's the last one we watch. Now I did it specifically in this direction. Let's go switch on my 7 moving average. No, not that. Put that one on. And now 7 moving average I've made yellow. Now what you will notice if I turn off the others quickly, let's just do that. Turn that off, turn that off, and turn that off. You will notice that your yellow or your 7 moving average basically runs with the candles. Can you see that? Wherever the candles are running, the yellow line is running. So if you want a summary quickly without looking at specific candles as to what the market is doing, look at what your 7 moving average is doing and you'll know where the candles actually are. Okay? So while I am trading, your 7 is the one that you also watch. 7 will come and turn around and touch pink, you're not worried. Okay? It might bounce off the pink, it might break through the pink. If it breaks through the pink's also going to turn around, you watch it as the 7 comes down. Let's just go put the others back on again. There I put on my pink. You'll see both the pink and the yellow are basically running. So my last 7 candles are showing me there's a serious upward trend. My pink is showing me there's a serious upward trend. Alright? And it's still running upwards. You worry about getting out of this thing the moment the yellow curls over. So it's going to curl over, it's going to maybe touch the pink. You watch, does it bounce off the pink or does it run away from the pink? If it bounces off the pink, you stay in the trade. Okay? If it crosses over the pink, get out. If pink starts crossing over the green, if you want to wait it out, because it might just come and test the green, if the moment pink crosses green, you're out. Definite out. So the warning lights come on the moment the green turns over. We call it going over to the top of the mountain and coming down the back of the mountain. The moment it goes to the back of the mountain and crosses your pink, you sell.
But Wayne, who's going to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning to check this?
Well, I'm going to teach you all this just now. Okay? You're not going to do this. Alright?
What are you talking about? You're always up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
But the idea is that when you are watching the chart, if you're busy paying attention over the last few days, what's happening, especially when you're on the higher time frames. If you're on the 1 minute time frame and 5 minute time frames, you're sitting in front of your computer. Because none of the other things are going to work because the market it's too fast. Okay, you're literally going to buy here when it crosses over, 10 minutes later you're out of the trade again and you've made 3%. Okay, that's what scalp traders do. Because it's minute candles, turn.
Those
out.
big fun.
Those are the people that get your heart problems.
They get your heart up, right up.
Ulcers.
Okay.
Good for them.
Any questions on what I've shown you now? Any questions? Jy met ons lê. Ja, kyk, jy koop nie hier nie. This is just watching your charts. You can't buy anything here.
Ons skerms lyk nie soos jou skerms nie. Ons volg en
Ja, jy kan nie op jou skerm tans volg nie want ek betaal $15 'n maand om ekstra indicators te kry. But if you go to your daar praat ek alweer op brief if you go to FX up here, you can find your various indicators. Now on the free version, you can get up to 3 indicators. Alright? But we found an indicator last time under moving average exponential. Let's see if we can find it again.
But you can do a technical analysis like this in
Moving average exponential times 4. If you type in moving average at the top, then in your drop down list, you go to FX. That FX, you saw that FX that I showed you just now.
Ja, van moving average exponential.
Yeah, but now drop down until you find this one times 4. Then you can go and program, it gives you 4 moving averages, and it counts as 1 indicator. Okay? Whereas if you put each individual moving average in, it's going to count as 1 indicator each. Okay. So you go and switch this one on, and then you go program it to have the 200 in, and the 200 you always make red. Okay? Then you put your 55 moving average in, you always make it green. Then you put your 21 moving average in, and that's pinky. She's pink. And then you put your 7 moving average in, and you make it yellow. Then you'll see everything I showed you now on these charts.
But I don't like thinking.
I'm sorry. You can make it whatever color you want, it's just
As long as it's pink.
okay. I just find with all the training and stuff that I've done up to now, everyone tends to use those colors and it works very well for me. So when they're talking something, I'm looking at the same thing, we're talking the same language, we're following the same stuff. It just makes it easier. Okay. So that's the first one you need, is moving average exponential times 4. Alright. And that's the basis of when you want to trade any coin. Is the 200 moving average moving upwards on an overall? So zoom out of your coin. Alright. The next thing I do whenever I look at a coin, whenever I'm starting out with trading, I do the following. I will go to a weekly chart on that coin. And there's a reason I do that. And if I look at this weekly chart, now every candle is 1 week. There's a reason I look at a weekly chart. The first reason is I want to know when did the coin start trading. And it's much easier, instead of scrolling back pages and pages and pages, I can find the start candle very quickly and I highlight that candle. It tells me this Coty started trading on the 24th of February 2020. Okay, when the candle was launched, the coin was launched in the market. The next thing I want to see about this coin is where was its high point? Where is its highest point ever in history? Okay. Now, if you have a look at Coty, this was the previous high over there, which it made on the 8th of March 2021. All right. And now, today, it's made a new all-time high. Well, this week, it's made a new all-time high over here. All right. But now, many coins, when you start this, will have made an all-time high, and it'll be coming down. It'll be running somewhere down here. Okay. Many coins, when you look at them. The first thing you then realize about that coin, this coin will return to its all-time high at some stage. So note the all-time high of that coin. Okay, write it down, put it in the spreadsheet, do something if you're busy watching coins. And I would have noted that this all-time high was here. It made an all-time high of 65 cents, which I can see over there. Okay, made an all-time high of 65 cents. So if it was somewhere down here, like in the week, that's what I saw, and I saw it was down, and it was up here at 40 cents somewhere, I saw that, okay, and then I knew this thing's got to go back there at some stage. So even if you buy it to hodl it, to just hold it, it's a good coin to hold, because at some stage it's going to go back to its all-time high. It's riding a cycle, okay. It might break its all-time high. Let's say Coty hits this now and turns around, okay. It turns around and comes back down. At some stage, it's going to go back and take out that all-time high. It's going to do it. So whenever I'm looking at a new coin, go to your weekly chart, have a look at the history of the coin. When did it start? What was its all-time high? Where is it now in relation to its all-time high? To know whether it's a good coin to be looking at for longer-term future, or is it not a good coin to look at right now? Okay? Now, what I'm looking at on the weekly chart here, I'll be careful right now of Coty because it's broken the all-time high. It's at a new all-time high. I'll first want to see what it's going to do next before I just climb into the coin. Alright? That's just how I trade, and to me it's just wise trading. Because at some stage after reaching an all-time high, it's going to turn around and go into a new cycle. It's going to come down. Where is it going to come down to? Let me show you where it's going to come down to. And that's the next thing I want to teach you is about support and resistance levels. But if you see here, on this level over here, or just about over there, there's a basic, let's just get a line drawn in here. There's a practical line somewhere around here that you can see. If I drew that in. It hit that line before, it bounced off that line, it saw that line as resistance. It came back up to that line, it found resistance at that line again. It dropped back down again, it went up again, it found resistance at that line again, it dropped down again. It came up, it found resistance at the line, but it shot through the line and it's back down at that line at resistance. Okay? Now normally when you keep hitting a resistance line like that, it's going to turn around at the resistance line and come down again. Now we're going to talk now about support and resistance lines. Okay? When you're scanning a coin. Because that tells you where the levels are on this coin, where it's going to run to. Okay? Each individual level going forward. Now let's go back to a 12-hour chart. Now on the 12-hour chart, you see the line I drew in on my weekly chart, it's back here. You see there it is, it touched there, touched it twice, it broke through it over there, it came back. There it found support on that line, on the 12-hour chart, it came up, found support on that line, and it's bounced off the support, and it's falling backwards again. The chances are it's going to come back down to this line at some other stage here, before turning around and charting again. So I would buy Coty when it comes back down here, and I'm going to show you just now to see more things to find it again. Okay? When it comes back, because support and resistance lines are very important in these markets.
Wait, sorry, how do you put in the 12-hour line? How do you put the actual line?
This line over here, that line, you're talking about this red line that I drew in?
The 12-hour line.
The 12-hour chart, you're going to go and put on
Not the chart, the line.
this line that I drew in over here.
Yeah.
Okay. If you go to that point over there, you see there on the side of your screen is a drawing tool.
Yeah.
Go click on that drawing tool, go click on your chart and draw the line. Okay? And that's a line that you can use for anything. You determine trends with that line. Is it upwards trend, downwards trend, is it flags, is it bull flags? Later you'll learn about all those type of things. Okay, those lines sort of give you what the chart is doing. The other thing that you're going to see on a chart like this is the following. You see the chart started here at the bottom. We're still looking at the Coty. We're on a 12-hour chart. Okay. It rode up this whole line over here. What was I going to say about this now? Just trying to remember. I can't remember what I wanted to say. I wanted to show you something. And just by definition quickly, this is something I'm not going to really go into now, but you'll notice this pattern over here, this hyperbole. The chart went around like this. It came up, it hit an all time, and it came down. We call this pattern a cup and handle. You notice the cup with this little handle, and normally after a cup and handle, the chart explodes. Always upwards. So whenever you see a cup and handle pattern on any time frame, you know the chart's also about to explode. It's just an indicator that you can see in your pattern of candles. But that's much more advanced. It's something I picked up over time, listening and reading. I didn't know what a cup and handle was when I first heard it, and was watching and watching and watching until you start identifying the patterns in the chart anyway. Okay. Let's zoom out of this thing a bit more. We're still talking support and resistance lines. Now basically with support and resistance lines, when you zoom out, you get a better picture of where horizontal lines or where horizontal support or where horizontal resistance in a chart is running. I don't know if any of you can, just by scanning this chart, can see where the basic lines are. What it basically is, I will go and have a look in the center of a thing like this, where this line is running. This line is automatically drawn because of this indicator that I've got on here. This indicator is called a Vpvr. And this indicator shows me, well, currently what's on the screen, where the main support and resistance for this coin currently is. Okay? Now that's a line I could have also gotten drawn in if I didn't have this indicator on at the moment. Alright? But basically what you will see, this chart breaks through, it comes back, it tests the line, it breaks up, it comes down, it breaks through the line. There it found support or resistance at the line. It broke through the line, it fell down. There it went again, there it found resistance at the line. Okay? So it's a line that's sort of running, it's an average line running through this entire chart. If I want to be more specific about it, then I'm going to go to where this high was, for instance, and try and draw a line there. Let's see if we can see if it lines up with anything else. If I drew a line there, if I put a line in about there, and I ran it through to the top of that over there. Can you see how many times it touched this line? It touched this line over here, it broke through this line, it just broke through and fell back. Then it ran across this line again and touched this line again over here. It just whipped through and came back. Okay? That's what we will typically call a resistance line or a support line. Now, in this case, it's still just a resistance line. It's never really found support on this line. When I mean support, resistance, it'll come up to the bottom of the line, bounce off the line and go back. Okay? Support is when it breaks through the line, turns around and comes back and rests on top of the line before running away. Okay? Now whenever I find a breakout like this, as I explained just now, I find this breakout, I will want this thing to find support on this line first. It has to come back and test this line. And until it's tested this line from the top, resting on the line and turning around, I wouldn't buy it yet. Okay? I can buy it up there, or wherever it is now, but it's going to fall back here first. Okay? And I can guarantee it. I'm telling you now it's going to happen. It's just my analysis has taught me this. It comes down and you want to buy it as it turns and bounces off this line. When it bounces off, it's found support here for the first time in a long time, and it's going to run once it's found its support. Okay? So I wouldn't buy this coin until it comes down again to just under 50 cents. That's where I'll buy it. And I'll teach you later, when you get to things like that, you can actually go and set up a buy order at 50 cents while you're away from the chart. And when it gets to 50 cents, it's going to buy your coin for you automatically, and you'll own the coin at the right price. Okay? If you can't get your computer at that stage when it gives you a warning or a trigger or whatever. Okay? You're going to be working today. You just want to make sure you catch the coin when it turns. You put in a bicycle. Alright. So this is how you go through every single chart. You try and find your horizontal support and resistance lines. If I quickly judge it over here, here's another one. I can go over here, you see here at the bottom of this, over there. If I drew in a line approximately there, or at the bottom of this wick, there we go. It's found support there before. You see it came down, touched the line, went up, came down, broke through the line from the bottom, found resistance at the line over there, broke down, came back up, broke through the line, came back, retested the line from the top, What happened after the retest? It first shot up, then it came back and it retested this support line. If I drew this one in, you can draw many support and resistance lines. It's not an exact science. It's to give you an idea of where this thing found support or where it found resistance, so that you know that if this coin turns around, it's going to fall back to the next level first. So when this thing turns around, it's probably going to fall back to here. It will not just fall back to there or to there. Okay? It's going to go to the highest level of support or resistance. So this is going to turn around and bounce off there. If it breaks through here for whatever reason, the market's busy crashing, then you watch, does it bounce off there? Okay? And if it bounces off here, you put a sell order in over there. You ride it up to the next line. And that's basically what support and resistance lines are going to teach you. So what you must go do is you go and open up any chart and just start putting in, see if you can, if you zoom out of the chart, see if you can see where your support and resistance line should be. And once again, it's not, if you got it slightly wrong or a few cents off, it's now wrong. No, it's not. It's still giving you an idea of where the support or resistance lines are lying on this chart. Alright? And I'm going to show you another way to do it easier even just now, when we look at Fibonacci. Okay. This Fibonacci draws support and resistance in for you. Okay? So there's all different indicators and stuff that makes trading easier and easier and easier. But it doesn't help you've got a Fibonacci on, you don't know what Fibonacci is doing. And what every line is meaning. Okay, and why the line is there. And what, you know, you've got to understand what you are doing when you are doing this. Okay. Is there any one of you that want to come and venture on drawing a line onto a chart here? Come on. Anyone? Have a look at this chart in front of me and show me where a support and resistance line is.
Just come a little bit down with your cross, just a little bit down.
Yes.
More down, come down,
Yes.
come.
Yes.
There, up.
Up
There.
there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's a support and resistance line. Okay. You see it bounced off that line. If we could draw this line in, we'll put it in over there. It's approximately there. And there's a very good example. There we came up from the top. We bounced off the line, found support. It shot up to the top. There was the market fall that happened in May. It fell right through the line. It fell to the bottom support line. Found support over there. Bounced off. Where did it bounce to? It bounced to the next support line. You see that? Remember I showed you just now, if it bounces through one line and falls to the next, and you buy it at the bottom here, you're going to sell it at that line, or just below that line. Okay? And that's how you ride the market. So, now once again, there are even more. There's another support line up here somewhere, where you can just turn these things off, they're more away. Up here you'll see another support line, approximately there somewhere. Yeah. Have a look at that. If I drew this line in about there, just to get a basic idea. Once again, there's no right or wrong, it's just a basis. You'll see there it bounced through the line, broke down, came back to this line, went up, bounced off that line, found resistance, found support, bounced right through the line, came back and broke again through both lines of support. Okay? So it's good to learn to identify where your support or your resistance lines are on a chart. It's looking at the history of the chart, telling you where the possible futures lie. And it's very interesting to watch actually how the market plays out. Okay? In most cases it'll bounce off the line. Especially if it's above the line, it's going to come back and bounce off that line. That's in most cases what happens, unless you get a market crash that's been forced. But if it hasn't been forced, that line is a standard line where everyone is selling or everyone is buying, and it's causing a point in that market. Okay? So what you are seeing here is a summary of what everyone is doing in the market. Where they are buying, where they are selling on this specific coin. And you want to come into that rhythm. So you're busy reading the rhythm of the market so that you can understand where do you climb in or where do you climb out. That's what support and resistance is. Okay? So if a chart comes up and bounces off the line, it's found resistance against that line, it's going to turn around and come back. Bitcoin has done that a number of times now recently. Bitcoin is really struggling to break back to this high over here. Was it this one? That was 42. It was even higher earlier. Let's go to a higher time frame. There was Bitcoin's all-time high. 63,825. If I go out on my chart, you will see how Bitcoin is struggling on a 4-hour chart, for instance, how it's trying to break out and how many times it finds support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance the whole time. And it's bouncing off. The main resistance at the moment is the 42,500, where it's struggling to break again. Somewhere about over here, 42,000 is now a bit lower, it's 41,000. But this is a line over here, approximately at 42,500. There's an approximate line. If you go through the history of Bitcoin, that's where the line runs. And we've been waiting for Bitcoin to break 42,500 and stay above that before we know the next breakout is coming, because that's been an all-time resistance line. Ever since it broke out earlier this year, that's been the resistance. It breaks it, tests it, goes up, tests it, breaks down, comes back, resistance against that line. Then the next line is about $48,000, approximately. So once it's broken 42, it's got to break the 45, then it's got to break the 48, then it's got to break the 52. And so we ride it from resistance line to resistance line to resistance line. Okay, every time we're watching Bitcoin to know what Bitcoin's going to do. And even though Bitcoin's dominance is down, Bitcoin still does dominate the market to a great degree. Currently by 41%, it's still got a domination. It's not fully dominating, but it does dominate certain coins. When Bitcoin dumps, everything dumps. Or a lot of stuff dumps. There are coins that don't dump. Okay? So now you can see Bitcoin's on a downward trend, but Koti's on an upward trend. So Koti is opposite to Bitcoin. It's not affected by Bitcoin. It's not affected by what Bitcoin does, because the technology behind Koti is not being affected by how Bitcoin is run. That's currently. There was a time, as I said earlier, that if Bitcoin sneezed, everything sneezed. The market is slowly changing. In about a year or so from now, Bitcoin's going to have no impact on the market. Okay, it's not going to determine the rest of the market. The market everything will be running on its own. Everything will be determined by itself.
Okay, but you're not buying Bitcoin now because it's going down.
It's going down.
But how would you have known there at the small dip it went and went up? How would you have known not to buy when it went up?
I'm going to show you now on further indicators.
Okay.
How we notice these things easier and quicker, and not just by looking at support and resistance. There are traders that only use support and resistance. Okay, I use a lot of other things. I like my Ichimoku Cloud, for instance. And I'll show you how to read an Ichimoku Cloud just now. It gives you a much better indication of, are we definitely in a buy zone? So I use the Ichimoku to confirm what I'm seeing on my 200 moving average, my 55. So I look at that first, and then I will go and look at what Ichimoku is telling me. Is it agreeing? Is it disagreeing? Is it fully in agreement? Is it not fully in agreement? There's certain things that I look at over there. Okay. And once I've done that, then we go to your MACD indicator and have a look at what MACD is telling us about the same thing. Okay? So we don't just accept that this indicator says this is definite. We go and confirm, confirm, confirm. Or all the indicators in line. When they're all in line, we buy. When
So
they're
how
all
long
in
does
line,
it take
we sell.
you to go through all your
I spend
stuff
about,
in the morning?
In the morning, half an hour. I go through 20,
Then you
30
went
coins.
through everything.
And I've gone through everything. Remember, you first look at my 200 moving average. So once I'm scrolling down, when I find a 200 moving average, I mark it. I go down, click, 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 click. No, 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 yes. No, 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 yes. Then I will come back to the ones I highlighted, and I go through all the coins again. Then I start looking at indicator number 2. That's my 55 cross. Do I have golden crosses? Yes. If I've got golden crosses, I change the color. Okay, so number 2 is lined up for me. Then I'll go through the 5 or 6 coins again. Then I look at the third indicator. Now that I've got these 2 lined up, then I go through it again and I look at my third indicator. Is this one lining up? Is it saying yes? Is it saying wait? Is it saying what? So yes, it's a buy. Is it a buy now? Is it a buy later? Okay, so I'll look at that. If everything lines up, then I buy. And then I'll switch on my Fibonacci, and my Fibonacci will tell me where the next resistance level is, and I'll sell at that level. And I'll walk away from my computer. And I put in an automatic sell. Okay. That's why you don't just look at one indicator and determine yes, the market's going, or no, the market's not going.
Why do you make use of a robot?
No. I used to make use of a company called Copy Pro Traders. I did them in March.
Okay.
They made me good money, but when the market went down, they couldn't make money. And they cost you $100 a month.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're not making your $100 back, okay, don't use them. And to make $100 back, you would have to have at least $1,000 in trade. Okay, in a bad month, they're not trading properly. And
I don't know then, do they give you the the option of writing your own
But it-
algorithms into that?
No, they've got their own algorithm. They've got traders that physically trade for them. You go and select the trader that you want to trade for you.
Oh, okay.
So whenever that trader does a deal, it automatically takes from your portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay, but your money is not lying with them.
Okay.
Your money lies in your own Binance account.
Right.
You've given him access to trade that account. So he can't withdraw your money, he can't do anything else, he can only trade.
Yeah.
You give him an API key, and every time he does a trade, you automatically do a trade with whatever amount you told him to trade with.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's like a copy trade.
It's a copy trade,
Yeah.
but it automates.
Yeah.
But there's a few glitches in their system at the moment. They're buying and you're not buying, and then they're selling, and yours is not being sold, and so it's a bit of a, until they've sorted their hiccups out.
Yeah.
Did I make money with them? Yes, I did, but I was making more money on my own.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of
So-
people that they don't want to really trade, but they want to get into the market.
To me, even if you're using someone like Copy Pro traders, remember one of the things we taught people in MoneyWise was if you're not the captain of your own ship,
You got problems.
you've got problems.
Yeah.
And the one thing we want to teach people here is stop relying on outside people to say, give your money here, we'll make you the 10% and the 20%. Guys, I've walked through that. I was part of MTI.
Yeah.
Okay, who knows about MTI?
Yeah, we all.
Right. Luckily, I withdrew my capital when I saw the FSCA get involved, so I took my money out. So I didn't lose anything with MTI. Later that year, in December, I joined a company called Finico in Russia. 20% a month. Okay? I took out my 20% every single month, and the moment I'd broken free, a month later they crashed. And I lost my initial capital, but at least I drew my initial capital.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lost time. And I made the decision right there, that's the last time I will do this. I will not touch it again. If I'm not trading for myself, I'm not trading. It's as simple as that. Now with anything, you've got to go and teach yourself the skill. Okay? Are you going to be a seasoned trader after today? No, you're not. All I've done is trying to take the fear out of this whole thing for you to make it easier for you to look at in the future. Okay? You're still going to have to go do homework. Guys, I put hours and hours and hours and hours in watching videos, trying to understand things. When I first learned about Ichimoku Cloud, I watched about 3 hours of footage. Okay?
Come with your
And I
book,
did
smoke
another
one.
course, to understand Ichimoku and stuff better. I'm going to give you guys a summary of what I've learned, but there's a lot more to learn about this stuff. This is like starting a business on your own where you don't have to work for a boss. Okay?
But this is, it's not only this or only this or only this. It's yes, you trade yourself, be the captain of your ship, but you also have a small allocation to copy trade.
You can have an
Which you
allocation
shift
to
over
copy
there.
trade, but if
Yeah.
you're using someone like a copy trader, watch what they are doing.
Correct.
Watch the market for yourself.
Yeah.
Listen, he bought my coin at 10 cents. I see the market spiked at 15 and he didn't sell.
Yeah.
Intervene, sell your coin.
Yeah.
You understand? But if you just leave it for someone else,
No, you can't do
you
that.
can't.
And you need to know the system before
You
you
need
do-
to know the
do-
system.
Do the copy thing.
The problem we all do is we don't want to learn the system. We don't want to teach ourselves the skill. And then we want to complain to God and to everyone else when I finally lose money. And why did God allow it? God didn't do anything. You did it.
Ja, true.
Ja, maar die nasionale party het ons geleer, nie worry nie. Ons
No, right. And that's the problem that we sit with.
That's right.
Okay? So I'm teaching you the skill here to get the fear out of this whole thing for yourself so that you can start functioning in a different mindset. And you can start teaching yourself this is nothing to be afraid of. This can actually be done by normal people like me and you and whoever else. And you don't have to start with hundreds of thousands of rands, you start with $20. I think the smallest trade Binance allows now is $20. Used to be 10, but it's now $20. So if you're trading on Binance, you need $20 to be able to put in a trade of any type. So I would suggest if you start trading if you can with $100. Break it up into 5 equal portions, so you don't put everything into one coin, okay? And you trade $20 trades. And you practice the skill. If you're afraid to put money in initially, then paper trade like Agnes said. Read the chart. This is a good coin to buy. Write down the coin, write down the date, the time that you bought it, the price that you bought it at, and how many you bought for $100. Don't go put $10,000 down on paper if you haven't got that type of money to trade with. So you put in your $20 trade, watch the coin, watch where you should have sold it. It sold at that point, it hit that point, write it down, calculate your profit in percentage. Okay? and play the next coin. Your money's out again, you've got more money. I taught my dad to do this. He's 78 years old. Last month he traded for the first time with money, and in his first month he made 58% profit with $100. So he made $58 for the month,
That's lovely.
buying and selling coins on his own now. Okay, you'll still bounce something off me. Listen, I'm looking at this, it looks good. He's 78. He's got no computer skills or computer literacy. He's learned how to read TradingView like I'm teaching you today. I sat down and I taught him these things first before I started doing a course. And he came back to me 3 times to reiterate. Now he's doing it. He's reading the chart, he understands the chart, and he's buying and selling coins. Okay. And I think that's why you were here today. That's what my dad told you. So yes, that's the scenario. Okay. Right, now let's move on. So now we've watched all the moving averages that I showed you, the 200 moving average, the 55 moving average, the 21 moving average, and the 7 moving average. Alright? Now we are going to go and have a look at Ichimoko. Right, let's turn this on. We're going to turn these averages off for now. And let's put on my Ichimoku Cloud. Now this looks very noisy. And I'm going to turn off other things in this cloud quickly. We start with the basics before we affect everybody. Let's put off that, let's put off that. We keep the lagging span, we take that off, we take that off. Right. Now, Ichimoku Cloud, once again a Japanese indicator that was designed by the Japanese for trading. They like their algorithms, they like calculating algorithms. The Ichimoku Cloud was built in the 1960s, okay, when it first came out by a Japanese trader. And if you go and study Ichimoku, you're going to see everything in here is called Japanese names. We've just translated them to English, and TradingView keeps them in English, okay. But you get your Tenkan-shan, your Chiku-shan, and your, yeah, that one. Okay. Your Chiku-span, your Tenkan-shan, and your, yeah, that one. Okay, I've got it, I've lost it. But the first thing I want to look at when I look at my Ichimoku Cloud is what we call the lagging span. Okay, we're now on Bitcoin, we can go to Kotti, but let's have a look at Bitcoin. The lagging span is this little purple line running over here. Whenever you go switch on, if you go to FX at the top, go and find Ichimoko, I-C-H-I-M-O-K-O. Okay. You guys looking for it? And switch on your Ichimoku Cloud. Now this indicator turned my trading around entirely. From not buying at the right time to starting to buy at the right time. And I literally tripled what I did last year in a question of 4 months. Using this indicator. Okay? It tripled my trades. It just helped me to see things much easier and much quicker and everything like that. Okay? Now there are many times that I will use my moving averages to have a look at certain things, but then I will go and have a look at Ichimoku as to it's the right time to enter, is it not the right time to enter. Okay. Now what this lagging span is, I don't know if you can see, if I look at this lagging span, if this, you see this long line coming down here, if this line moved forward, you realize that that top over there is that top over there, and this line is actually following this line coming down here. And that pattern is the bottom over there, and it's sort of, this line is actually exactly the candle pattern. Can you see if you move this line to, it'll actually run on top of the candles. Is there anyone that can't see that? Are you with me? Okay, so if I move this line, so this line has been set back 26 periods, or 26 candles. We say periods, not days or hours, because it all depends on what chart you are on. If it's on your hourly chart, it's going to be 26 hours. If it's on your daily chart, it's going to be 26 days. If it's on your 12-hour chart, it's going to be 12 days or 20 or 26 12-hour periods, 13 days. Okay? So they've moved this thing back 26 periods. Alright? And the reason they did that is they wanted to find an easy way for you to determine where the market is now in relation to where it was 26 periods ago. Alright? So what they teach you is, when this, we call this line Barney. We just named him Barney. We like Barney. Okay, so we follow Barney. So when Barney is below your candles or trading underneath your candles, you don't touch that chart yet. Okay, what you want to see is that Barney breaks through your candles and the line is above your candle action and pointing upwards. Let's see if we can find the chart that is doing that. And
Why is that the baseline on trailing views?
It's not the baseline, it's your lagging span.
Lagging span is Barney.
That's Barney. Okay? And I made Barney purple. I used to make it black, but since I did my one training course, they all made it purple and they named him Barney, and since then I've been calling him Barney too. So Barney works for me. Okay. Have a look at what Cotty did. Barney broke through, went above the candles. After Barney broke out, look what the candles did. So every time Barney breaks above the candles, that's one of your buy-in point indicators. So I will go and look through my moving averages, 200 moving average. Did I have a 55 crossover at a golden cross? Okay. Have I got a golden cross on pinky? Have I got a golden cross on the yellow one, the 7 moving average? If that's all there, I come and have a look at what is Barney doing. Alright? Because what I want to see is, currently you're looking at this in hindsight, but Barney's still pointing seriously upwards, and the fact that Barney's pointing upwards tells me this next candle is still going to be an upwards candle. Okay, it hasn't turned around yet. When Barney turns around, okay, that's when you want to get out. You don't have to get out then, but when Barney comes and crashes into your candles, you want to be out. Watch there, Barney broke out, we had a breakout, then Barney turned and Barney came down. And the moment Barney crashes there, you want to be out. You want to actually be out way before, but if Barney crashes into your candles, you want to be out of the trade. You're done with the trade. You're not trading it anymore. It's over.
On a later stage?
Whenever Barney turns around and it's going downwards, it's going to crash. The moment you can see it's on a path. When you're driving in a car and you're on a collision course, okay, you get out of the way.
Okay.
When Barney gets a collision course with the candles, you get out of the way. Let go of your trade. Run. Sell. Okay, you put an immediate sell order in and you run. Okay? So Barney is a brilliant indicator as to what the charts are doing. Alright. The next thing in the Ichimoku cloud is you are watching the point. You're looking, is it a green or a red cloud to start with? You see these clouds? That's where this Ichimoku came from. Okay, you've got a green cloud, you've got a red cloud. There's a lot more I can teach you about Ichimoku, but I'm not going to go into all the details because I'm just going to give you too much info. And too much info just makes everything fuzzy. Okay, and it's just... So I didn't trade when I didn't know everything about Ichimoku that I know today when I started using Barney, but Barney turned my life around in trading when someone taught me this basic principle. Okay, so when Barney is broken through your candles in an upwards direction, you can buy the coin. Okay, it's going to run. The next thing you want to see is what is the point of this little cloud doing? Is the point of this cloud pointing upwards, or is the point of this cloud rolling over? It's rolling over. Okay? Now in my green cloud, I'm always looking at the top line of my green cloud, and in my red cloud, I'm looking at the bottom line of my red cloud. Okay? What the bottom line is doing. Especially when I've been in a downtrend market, like this, I need to know is the market, when's the market going to turn up? It's down still. When's it going to turn up? You watch the bottom line, and you see the bottom line there suddenly shot up to the top. Okay, it went upwards. This side line, the back here. It suddenly became green, and then it shot up. green candle, green candle. This thing is still pointing upwards, means this thing is not finished running. The Kotti is not finished running yet. You don't need to get out of it yet. Okay. So if you were in it, stay in it. I would not get into it right now, but if you were in it, I would not get out of it yet. I'd still be running with it. Okay? Until Barney turns around. When Barney turns around, you sell. And you get out of the coin. And you wait for the next low point to come back into the market. Are you still following me? Okay. The point of this candle is very important along with Barney, because this candle, the point of this cloud is telling you where it's still going, and you keep watching the point. The moment that point rolls over, you're going into consolidation period, which means sideways trading. Nothing's happening. We're either at a resistance level, we are somewhere around there, but we are running sideways. And we wait for the sideways to complete before we determine are we buying or selling again. Okay? Marius Landman, one of the guys I follow at a subscription rate of $50 a month, he's got this saying that if you don't take your profit off the table will take your profit for you.
Yes.
Okay? So you're watching this the whole time, keeping an eye on it. You're not sitting in front of your computer all day, because I'm in a 4-hour chart. So it moves much slower than a 1-hour chart or something. I'm not watching, but the moment the 4-hour rolls over, I want to go out. I'm done. Until then, I'm still in. And this coin is probably still going to rally. It's currently at 63 cents.
Can you maybe look for us at Phantom? FTM.
FTM. Binance.
Nog nie daar by jou.
Is dit nou daaronder? Weet nie, ek moet kyk as dit daaronder. Ja, daar is hy. Phantom. Let's judge Phantom. Remember I said with the red cloud, you're watching the bottom line of the cloud. You see there was the bottom of the cloud. It suddenly turned around and started moving upwards. You see that outside line? That tells you this chart is turned. It turned about there and it's busy going up. But the moment you see that turnaround, you know the green cloud's imminent. It's coming. So the chances are you're going to get a green cloud, then you watch the top line and you're going to watch this thing running. But Barney has gone through the candles. The fact that Barney is above the candle says to me, very good purchase sign in this coin. Now once again, because I started here, I'll first go and have a look at my moving averages as well. I won't just let this be my only decision making process. Is my 200 moving upwards? Do you understand? But normally when I get this, the 200 is upwards, everything is upwards. We've got our golden crosses, because this won't normally cross over until you've got that anyway. Okay? That's just basically telling me that the candles are currently higher than what they were 26 periods ago. That's what this purple line tells me, which is a very good sign in my trading. So just judging by this and judging by the bottom of this cloud, it tells me it's very good. What will hold me back on this one is this support and resistance line, which this indicator is drawn in for me. But even if I went to draw it in for myself, this coin is going to hit this line at some stage and either find resistance or break through. Currently, it's not strong enough to maybe break through, so I'll wait for it to break through, come back and retest, and then I'll buy it. Are you following me? Remember, I wanted to go through a resistance line. Once it breaks through, it must turn around and come back and test my resistance line. That's when I actually want to buy
That's
it.
the line you put in that.
This is what this indicator put in, but you can also put it, you would have also seen it for yourself. I mean, there it's touching, there it's touching, there it's touching from the bottom, there. So you'll see it's been struggling to break through this line and stay above this line for a long time. Okay? So I will first wait for it to break this line before I will trade. So that's FTM. Let's have a look at a bit of history on FTM.
What indicator draw that line?
This is a Vpvr indicator.
Okay.
Your Vpvr draws all your support and resistance lines in a chart. And it tells you how strong each support line is. So this indicator that I've got on the side here, you will see I'm on a very strong support and resistance line here. As it moves up, it becomes less strong, less strong. By the time I get there, there's no more resistance.
It was
You see, it's very, very weak. It's only been there once before. It was at 194. But you can know that if this coin does finally break this line, it's going back to 194. Okay? So it might be a good coin to hold once you see that it's broken its previous resistance line and tested the resistance line. You'll see there, it broke through the line, came back, retested the line, and then ran to a new all-time high after testing the line. And you can go and have a look at how many coins, if you go back into the history of a coin, you will see the same thing play out over and over and over again. Once it breaks through a line, it will first come back and test the line, and when it turns around from there, it runs.
Wayne, do you ever or have you ever used 369 as a gauge?
369.
369 on this particular coin, if you look above the line,
Yes.
towards the end there, above where the 20 is, at the bottom you'll find the 20 out there, just so you will see that it's bounced 1, 2, 3 times above your line, come more to the
this
left.
line, yeah.
Come there,
Yeah,
stop.
there's bounce.
There's 1, bouncing 2, and
It's about to go the third time.
that's it. So,
Right.
so
Look, there are many other technical things that you can use.
yeah, we
Okay.
use a 369 algorithm and draw the support lines.
When you're getting your support lines and you've got retest after retest
Yes.
after retest on a support line, the chances by the time number 3 it's going to break the line.
Correct.
Okay. But I don't want to go into those details here because it becomes too much.
I just want to ask if you are.
No, I'm aware of things like that. I also watch things like that.
Okay.
There's a lot more other technical stuff I do by watching my lower highs and higher highs and all that type of stuff and drawing my trend lines, my slanted line. Those are things you can teach yourself as you go. What I'm teaching you today is enough to get you trading and enough to get you profitable.
And get excited.
You understand? And as you become profitable, you're going to start teaching yourself more and more skills, learning how to read a market even better, even more accurate, okay? But this is enough, by just using this, you will make money. Okay. Now I'm going to put on another line quickly while we're on this coin, on my Ichimoku Cloud. And up at the point I was only trading with Ichimoku, I didn't even have the moving averages, I only learned that later, and that also helped a heck of a lot to expand my trading. Now I start with my moving averages and I move over to Ichimoku. I don't just use the one. But the other one on Ichimoku that I use, let's go back to settings, and I put my baseline in and I put my conversion line in. And what you want to see with your baseline and conversion line, you always want your blue line or your conversion line to be trading above your baseline. And Barney must be above your candles. Okay? Once those things, if this is above the brown, the blue is above the brown, and Barney is above the candles, you can trade it. Okay? And this one still looks reasonably good to trade. I'm assuming the next candle is probably going to break here, but then it's probably going to come back and retest my blue line. That's what I've got to learn over time before it breaks out finally. Okay? But very good indicator. So this is a good coin to buy. It might still make a turn and come slightly down, but ultimately it'll go up because my blue line is pointing upwards, above my brown line. Barney is above my candles. So without looking at the rest, it'll be a good coin to buy. But because of my resistance line, I will wait for it to break that line first before I do buy it. Okay. Then I've got a confirmed buy by looking at all that. Okay. Anyone not understanding this? And then obviously at this coin at the back here, you see how it broke out. The bottom of my Ichimoku has suddenly shot up there and shot up straight over here. It tells me this thing is going to...
Wants to do that.
Okay, wants to do that.
So wait, on your Ichimoku Cloud, the conversion length, baseline length, is the same there?
I think it's 9 and 26, I think.
52 and 26.
Yeah, the 52. On your cloud itself, it's 26 periods ahead
Yeah.
of your candles and 52 periods away from your lagging span. Double 26. So the point of this cloud is 52 periods away from the point of your lagging span.
Okay.
That's what it's saying. Okay? So what the cloud is showing me is, based on the history of what it's seeing here, is a breakout coming. There's a shot straight up there. This is probably going to become a green cloud soon. Okay? And you basically either wait for the green cloud. The green cloud will probably only form once it's broken this resistance line.
And that's the big thing. It's the line.
And that's the big,
It's gotta go
it's got to go through the line. Until it breaks that line, it's not good.
Gotcha.
Wait, because the chances are it could still bounce here. You want to wait, is it going to bounce or is it going to break it? And if it breaks it, wait for it to come back to it. Then you buy it. So whenever you've got a chart, so whenever you're busy trading in a chart or you're busy watching support and resistance lines, and that's my resistance line, the chart must come through, it's going to bounce, it breaks through, then it must come back, and when it touches this line and turns around, that's your buy point in this coin. Okay? And don't get FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't become fearful when you see, oh, it shot up. Wait, it's going to come back. Arno phoned me one day about a coin. He said, this coin's running. I said, yes, but it's running away too far. Wait for it to come back. My words weren't even cold. And the coin started turning around. It came back. It bounced off the support line. I said, now you buy it.
You gave us the names with the 255, those, the red, green.
Yes.
What is these lines' names? How do we choose them?
Okay, these lines, the blue line is called your leading, one is the baseline, the brown line is your baseline, and the other one is your, let's have a look what they call it, conversion line. So you want your conversion line to be crossing over the baseline. The baseline is the average, once again, and you want the conversion line, the lower period, to cross over to the higher period. Once again, you want the golden cross on your Ichimoku Cloud, in simple terms. Okay? So once my conversion line crosses my baseline, I know I've got a buy signal. And the point of the cloud tells me whether this is going to happen or whether it's coming, or you understand, it's imminent. And then obviously this thing, if that's happened, it's broken through the top of my candles, good sign. Okay. Any more questions? Jy het gevra Thys? Te veel vra. Jy kan vra. Laat ons sê antwoord.
Ja, ek dink ek volg die neiging en dis
Okay.
dan ek sien die trend.
Okay. And you can use this, what I'm teaching you today, on any stock. Whether it's Apple, whether it's Tesla, whether it's whatever, this helps you to identify what's happening in the market. You put these indicators onto those shares and you watch those shares. And you know when to buy or sell or whatever those shares.
Sorry, Wayne.
Yes.
Net seker maar die conversion line met die baseline breek. Andersom.
The conversion line must break the baseline.
Ja, so it's from small to
Yes, from small to big. Always, your golden cross is always from a smaller moving average crossing your larger moving average. Okay, and if I look at the values of these lines, I can go into the detail here. Inputs. My conversion line is 9 periods and my baseline is 26 periods.
ja.
Okay, so the baseline is giving me the average over the last 26 candles. My blue line is giving me the average over the last 9 candles. Okay, so you want the 9 to cross over the 26 to get a buy. Okay. Now the other interesting thing you will see, let's just have a look here. When I was looking at the 4-hour chart, the previous one was a 4-hour chart. On my 4-hour chart, we already had a crossover of the conversion line crossing the baseline. Can you see that? The moment I go to 12 hours, it hasn't done that yet. If I take my candles out of here, we will see quickly just to...
Busy getting momentum,
It's busy getting momentum.
but it can lose it.
Okay, where do I switch these candles off now? Yeah, there. You see the blue is already pointing upwards to want to cross it on 12 hours. So your lower time frames will always cross over first and slowly move up. So your 1 hour will cross first, then your 2 hour, then your 4 hour will cross, then your 12 hour will cross, then your day will cross. Okay? I normally trade on the 12 hour unless you're in a very downward market like we are now. Then a 4 hour, I will trade on a 4 hour still. Okay. So on a 4 hour, this is a buy. On the 12 hour, it's not a buy yet. It's going there. And on the 12 hour, you will see my Barney hasn't crossed my candles yet. It's close, but it's not there yet. Okay? If I put my candles back on, you'll see Barney is still below the candles on my 12 hour. You see I'm on a 12-hour chart up there?
No, I missed how you put the candles on and off.
Okay, if you just go to whichever coin you are on, if you highlight just below that, if you go there,
Yes.
you'll see this little eye.
Mm-hmm.
You click on the eye and it turns them off. Okay? And the same thing with any one of your indicators. If you go to the indicator and I highlight the indicator, it'll give me a settings button or an on and off button. So I can turn off my Ichimoku Cloud like that. So I can turn it back on. Okay? So when chart becomes too crowded, I switch off certain things so that I can focus on one thing. And I switch the others off. You'll see my moving averages are currently off. If I turn on my moving averages again, then I'll leave them on. Why is it off? Oh, there we go. Where are they? That's interesting. What happened? Oh, I turned them off here. Okay, and then we want, you see this one indicator of mine, I've got everything, but I purchased this indicator. See, but if I turn everything on, now I've got my moving averages and I've got Barney on the same chart. Okay, it was the one indicator that I purchased, I'm able to get it. Alright, so now you can watch here, my moving average is upwards. My green has crossed the red, so we've got a theta cross, a golden cross. Everything's still currently above the green, but then we went to the top of the mountain, we're coming down. We're busy watching, is this pink and yellow, is yellow going to cross over pink again? And we're watching Barney, it hasn't broken through the candles, so I won't buy it until we break through the candles. Okay, so now we're just looking at the moving averages again and Barney alone, and just getting an idea of everything. But once again, everything is lined up here for a buy, except we're waiting for the turnaround at the point. Yellow is broken down through pink, so we had a death cross over there, we're waiting. Yellow has now tested the green, it's turning upwards to cross the pink, and we first got to wait for it to cross the pink. Because once it crosses the pink, pink, yellow and green will start moving upwards again, which means another run. And then by that time, Barney will be above my candles, and if I put the rest of my Ichimoku Cloud on, you'll see that your conversion line is about to cross the baseline. Okay, and it's all screaming in the same direction. Alright. Are you guys already learning enough to be able to test this thing on your own to say when to buy and when to sell?
It's going like this.
It will go like that. I don't blame you. Guys, when I started out, there was no one really to teach me, so I started listening to a guy by the name of Marius Landman last year, June, after I started trading a bit on my own. And he was talking language and I didn't understand a word. For 2 hours he talked, and it just go all over my head. Just fly over. And I decided I will keep listening to him every single week until I understand. And I just carried on every Friday, every Friday, every Friday, every Friday. And I would write down concepts that he would talk about, and I'd go to YouTube and find the concept, and I would learn the concept. I would find someone that can teach me what he's talking about here. Find someone to teach me this. Find someone to teach me that, all for free. Until I finally could trade on my own. And I find in the beginning it was slow. I would buy, sometimes I would lose on a trade and I'd have to wait. The longest trade I've waited was 155 days. From when I bought it wrong. It fell. And I had to wait for it to go through the whole fall, turn around, come back and sell to make a profit. Which is one of those things. So have I learned by making mistakes? Yes, I've also made mistakes. Do I still make mistakes? Yes, I still make mistakes. Don't let the mistake put you off. Learn from your mistake.
Stop
and move on.
losses.
Stop losses. We'll get to that. Okay, we're going to get there. We actually get to trading. Okay.
Nog daarin vergewe.
Hallo. Ek wens ek kan myself vergewe. Ek het myself nog nie vergewe nie. Hoe laat ons reg vir ete? Ons aanvang.
Ek kan nog so 10 minute as jy wil.
Okay, ek het nie regtig iets om verder regtig te sê nie. Ek het net gedink waar is ons
Anders
nou?
stop jy, is reg.
Okay.
Enige vraag?
Oké, vind die algoritme,
Ja,
Afrikaans Engels?
doesn't matter.
Die algoritme is vereis verskeie maniere waarna jy gaan kyk
Ja.
voordat jy besluit om in te klim of
Ja.
uit te klim.
Ja.
So dit is die beta wat ek sê daar baie vrae kom.
Ja,
Maar ek neem aan van hier af kan jy basies na jou trading platform toe
yes.
om hierdie dan toe te pas.
Yes, nou koop jy in jou trading platform.
Okay. Dis net dis die
So this is where you view what's going on.
Ja.
Now Binance used to have a place where you could go to TradingView from and inside of Binance, but the last month and a half they've turned that feature off. The label is still there, but if you click on TradingView it does nothing. And I think it's got something to do with TradingView's upgrade, recent upgrade, and TradingView is moving more to paid accounts. They've still got a free version, but Binance was offering a full package for free inside of, they were using TradingView, full package for free, and I think TradingView's got to the point where they said no more. Because you're basically taking people around my platform to not pay for my service because you're giving it away for free in your platform. So that's why they've come to this platform, and they say in this platform you can get 3 indicators for free. After 3 indicators you must pay. On your free version, so you can basically put on these moving averages, you can put on the Ichimoko, and you can maybe put on a MACD, which we'll get to just now. Alright? And then your 3 indicators are done. Now if you want to put on a 4th one, it says, can you please pay? Alright? So you'll be turning on and off indicators, removing them, putting them back, removing them, changing around initially. Is it possible to trade like that? Yes, it is. But at some stage you make enough money to say it's worth $15 a month and you pay.
Tell them how to set up the coins.
Okay, in TradingView, setting up your coins, you'll notice when you open up your screen, it's either looking like this. If you click this little box on the side there, that one up there, it'll open up a watch list or list of possible coins. Now initially, this list will be totally empty. Alright, you go and click on the plus sign. You will then type in, you either go to all or you go to cryptos. If you're looking just at cryptos, go to cryptos. Alright, and you type in whatever coin you want to watch. Let's say you want to watch Bitcoin for argument's sake. You will go and type in your BTC, or did you just see if you type in Bitcoin? Yeah, it says BTC. And because if you are trading on Binance, you will then go select the one for Binance. Because believe it or not, each of these coins trade on various exchanges and they each have their own price. It is very close to each other, but they are not exactly the same as each other. Okay? So if you are trading in Binance, go and watch the price in Binance. It doesn't help you go to KuCoins 1 if you're busy in Binance. Okay, and now South African exchanges don't have a place on TradingView. Okay, so then you'd go watch Binance or whatever, and then you go trade in rands, and it's a different story. Okay, and the other thing I've realized is between Binance and the South African exchanges, the South African exchange tends to have a higher price for Bitcoin, argument's sake, than what an overseas exchange does.
Yeah, is it not lower?
It's higher.
Higher.
Yes, they've got a higher price. And
Oh yes, it's
they've got a higher price. Because I've calculated, I bought a car in April with some of my profits from last year, and I calculated I needed $24,000, and at the end of the day I needed to cash in $22,000 to buy the same car. They gave me a better price for Bitcoin and rands.
Arbitrage.
It's called arbitrage. Arbitrage. It's a way of playing one exchange against the other. It's also, some traders actually just do that. They buy here, sell there, move money, and they make money by just moving between exchanges. But that's a different ball game from another time. Okay.
And the stable coin.
Okay, and your stable coin. The one I currently use, although I'm busy possibly changing it, is the US dollar tether or USDT. Okay. So you will find here, when you're looking at a coin for Bitcoin, for argument's sake, you're going to see Bitcoin USDT, Bitcoin US dollar, Bitcoin, I don't know what THB is. Let's see, there's no, let's go to a different coin because everything's not related. I want to show you something. If I go to ADA. ADA, US dollar tether, ADA euro, ADA Bitcoin. These are the pairings that you talk about when you get to a coin. Now I normally trade against a stable coin. Now a stable coin, there are certain stable coins in the crypto market. And what a stable coin basically does is they've taken the US dollar and they've made a coin in the crypto world that is equivalent to the dollar. Okay? And that makes it easier to trade in and out, so I don't have to keep leaving the crypto space and coming back into the crypto space. And leaving the crypto space because the US dollar would be a fiat currency. So they've given me a coin that's equivalent to the US dollar into which to trade. So I normally use USDT. But I have done a lot of reading lately about USDT and the way, because there's a lot of scrutiny by the American government currently on stable coins. And the reason is they're saying, yes, you guys are considering this a crypto, but the stable coin is invested in normal commodities, okay, like bonds and stocks and things like that to keep it stable, which actually makes it a coin that has to be governed by the SEC, okay. So it's causing a lot of issues, and they actually want to ban all stable coins. So one's going to have to watch the news concerning stable coins going into the future.
But USDC has passed.
USDC, okay, and I don't know about Binance's one. Apparently Binance's one, the way it's regulated and the assets that they are is much better stable coin, okay.
USDC has got money for that, but USDT has got maybe money in Evergrande also.
Okay.
So that's problems.
So we want to move to a stable coin that's more regulated rather than one that's not regulated. Because if your money is lying in a stable coin that's not regulated and they shut it down, you lose all the money lying in that coin if you didn't get it out in time. Okay. So all the stable coins are trying to comply at this moment with US government, federal laws and stuff like that to say, but we've got it right, yes, you can have and you can look and you can watch. And there's a lot of control going around because of people are trading cryptos and moving money out of fiat systems at an alarming rate. Okay, and it's a big problem to the world markets. So just keep your ear to the ground. And as Adler says, USDC has apparently now been approved. I wasn't even aware of that right now. So that might be a good stable coin. But now what you'll find on USDC is you might not find enough. Let's see if we've got this one. It does exist, USDC Cardano. Okay, you'll have to find your pairing. So if you type in your coin Cardano as ADA, okay, or you can just type in Cardano, it'll probably find ADA, and then find your pairing that you want. Which means if you move rands from South Africa, you're going to have to first buy a coin like Ethereum or whatever, move that to your overseas exchange, and once you've moved it there, you can sell it for USDC and then buy whatever. Okay.
It's better to go through Ripple because
I find Ripple cheaper to go through. Yes,
cheaper.
It's much cheaper. So whenever I move money, I use Ripple XRP, and because XRP is not as volatile as Bitcoin, it's got a lot more sideways trading. So by the time I've done the transaction from buying and selling, I haven't lost much money in the process or gained much money. It's a 4-minute transaction, in, out, done. And I've got and I sell it on that side for whatever coin I want, and then I can buy whatever I want. And that's the basis of the process of moving money. Okay. If you want to learn how to move money, you can go and look at videos and stuff. I'll see this afternoon. I can quickly show you how the process is done from a Binance account, maybe to a Valor account, or whatever the case may be, so that you can see. And it's the same process between me and you and another person as what I would use between my two accounts. Everything stays the same, you just get the other person's wallet address. Okay.
When buying through Luno, you don't have Ripple to buy. So you buy.
You can buy anything that can move.
Sure.
But
sure.
I normally
question has to do with cost and speed.
Cost and speed. That's what you want. Bitcoin takes up to an hour to move, and Bitcoin's the most expensive to move.
So Ethereum probably on Luno.
Ethereum is already a better one because you use the Ethereum network.
On Luno as well.
Well, if they've got USDC, buy USDC from your rands and move your USDC straight over. That'll be your best one.
But lately was Ethereum the most expensive.
Okay. Yeah, Ethereum was, the ERC20 network was expensive. I started moving to Litecoin, but Litecoin still has volatility in the market.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've got Litecoin as well.
So, but Litecoin was one of the cheaper coins to move. It didn't cost very much. It was like less than $2 to move money from South Africa.
But on Valor you can also move your Cardano over to Binance.
You can if you bought Cardano, but Cardano there you've got to buy, as far as I have it, with Bitcoin or with Ethereum. You can't buy it with
You
rands.
can move it.
You can move it, but you can't buy it with rands.
Yes.
You've got to buy it with Bitcoin, or you've got to buy it with something else.
No, with Rand you can buy
Can you buy it now?
No.
Then it's changed.
No.
That's in Luna or Valor?
Valor.
Okay, then it's changed in Valor. I don't use Valor very often. I only use it when I bring money back into the country, which is not often. I always try and find someone that wants to take cryptos first. And then I pay them straight in cryptos instead of moving money to a rand account.
Wonderful.